Writing a function rule given a table of ordered pairs. One-step rules. All right, so we're trying to find the rule for this table that they're going to give us, and we also know that it's going to be one step. So the title does give you some information, just so that you know how much you're expected to do from this page. All right, so it says below is the table of values of a function. Think of a function like a machine. If you put something in, you get something out. If I put something different in, I should get something different out. So think of a function that way. Kind of makes it a little easier in your head. Write the output when the input is n. So they're doing input output just like I just said with the machine. So we're going to input something, a number, and it's going to output something, which is also a number. But remember, for everything we change, if I change the input, the output should also change. So we need to figure out how much is it changing by? What is the machine adding to or multiplying by, or what is it doing to what we put in there? So we just need to make our decision here, or go through and make our investigation. So as you can see down here, they start looking at input to output. Well, how do I get from 4 to 2? So in this case, I subtract -2. I could have also divided by 2, so there's actually 2 options. So I do need to make sure I go to the next number to test which one am I doing. Am I dividing by 2 or am I subtracting 2? So if I go 7 to 5, well, if I divide 7 by 2, I'm going to get a decimal. We don't want that one because we don't get a decimal down here. So if I subtract 2, I do get 5. So let's test it one more time here. 8 minus 2, oh, I do get 6. So that must be my rule. I'm subtracting 2 from everything that is input. And that's my output. That's how I get my output. So I'm going to do the same thing with n. N is just a number we don't know yet. So we write it as n minus 2. And that's literally all we're going to have to type in. The only answer that you put in is in the box. So we type in n minus 2 because this is the rule we just came up with. And that's it. All right, let's go ahead and try this one out. Well, darn it. I didn't mean to do a screenshot. That was silly. I wanted to click on that one. Okay, start. Okay, so what we need to decide is how do I get from 3 to 15? So there's 2 options here. I can multiply by 5, or I can add 12. So we need to figure out, am I multiplying by 5 or am I adding 12? We figure that out in the next one. So 4, and let's just test it. 4 times 5, what can I get from 8 to 40? Yes, I can. Now, if I add 12, I get 20. So right away I know, okay, add 12 doesn't work. So then 9, how do I get from 9 to 45? Multiply by 5. So I'm multiplying by 5 every time. So I'm going to do the same thing with n. I'm going to take n and I'm going to multiply by 5. And we write that as 5n. So you can also use this box and write it like this. 5 times n like this. That's perfectly fine as well. But I do believe that this program will accept 5n. So let's go ahead and check it, and we're good to go. Clear, next. Okay, let's do a couple more of these. All right, so here we can either add 4, or we could have multiplied by 5, because 1 times 5 will also get me 5. So we need to figure out which one is true. Are we going to add 4 each time, or are we going to multiply by 5? So that's the one thing about the first one is you can have a couple of ways to get there, and then you have to test it on the next one to see which one is true. Which one am I actually using? So 5 plus 4, if I'm going, so I went from here to here, now I'm going from 5 to 9. So if I add 4, I do get 9. So I know that's a plus 4. If I multiplied by 5, I would get 25. So we know we don't want to use that one. And then 7 to 11, we want to test it one more time just to make sure I do in fact add 4 to get to 11. So that's my rule. I'm adding 4 each time. So I'm going to click on this one that has the 2 boxes with the plus sign, and I'm going to say n, and I'm going to add 4 to whatever n is. And the reason we're doing this is we're writing the expression for the rule. So it's not a full equation yet, but it's the expression on this side. So n plus 4. And the reason we're writing that is so that we know I can plug anything I want in here now. I can plug 100 in, and I know if I input 100, I will get out 104. If I input 1,000, I will get in 1,004 back out. So it's just how we write the rule for it. We need to decide what's being done to the input to get to the output. All right, next. Go and change up our color here. All right, so last one here. So how do we get from 4 to 1? So I can subtract 3, or I could divide by 4. So my two options here. So we need to decide which one are we doing. So to get from 7 to 4, if I subtract 3, that definitely works. 7 minus 3 gets me 4. If I divide by 4, I'm going to get a funky decimal. We definitely don't want to use that one. And then this one, if I go from 8 to 5, so 8 minus 3 does, in fact, get me 5. So here's my rule. I'm going to go minus 3. So I'm going to click on the minus tool over here, and I'm going to, why didn't it give me a box in the front? N minus 3. So there we go. And we finished another one. Yay.